Honestly, there was a lot of fake it till you make it up until probably 6 months ago. I had a few people reach out to me for larger renovations. And, without hesitation, I said, yeah, I can do that for you without question. But there was definitely a lot of times in the past where, I've told people I can definitely do it for them. And, you know, I don't want to say I go home and YouTube how to do the work because that's not true, but I figure out a way to do it. So yeah, probably about 6 months ago, I took on a bigger project
Mhm.
and, was very confident that we could do it right.
Welcome to the Onsite podcast. We chat with contractors, educators, industry professionals about the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. So without further ado, let's fucking get into it.
What's up? What's up? We are back, episode 20. Today we've got Andrew Coskey, one of the contractors in the Elite Builder Society. Super excited to dive into this conversation with you today. Andrew is the owner of Jetty Homes and Jetty Custom Showers. I'm super excited to dive into this. Andrew, thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
So Andrew, you got two businesses going on. You got the Jetty Custom Homes and you got the Jetty Custom Showers. Tell us a little bit about each of them.
So Jetty Homes is basically a home building and remodeling company at the Jersey Shore. We specialize in full remodels as well as new construction. And then we kind of found ourselves in a weird spot. All these homes at the Jersey Shore have outdoor showers. It's part of the culture. So we found ourselves doing a lot of those. And I started a separate business just around that. We build outdoor showers. Usually they're vinyl, but a lot of times we'll do custom cedar ones. And it just kind of enhances the home and the lifestyle here at the Jersey Shore.
I love it. So where we are, we have winter. You don't have winter like we do.
We have winter, not like you though.
Not like we do. No. A friend of mine actually, they have an outdoor shower, and I was like, "Oh, this is super cool." And then when we started working together, and I saw the ones that you were producing, I was like, "Oh, this is a whole industry, especially when you're
Yeah.
beat and that's a part of the lifestyle." So I love that you kind of niched into that. We'll plug both of your companies, but for anybody that's listening and you want to go check out these showers, what's the Instagram handle for that company, Andrew?
Jetty Outdoor Showers.
Yeah, there we go. Awesome. Okay, so yeah, if anybody wants to go follow Andrew and the outdoor showers, you can just go click that link. Super cool product. So Andrew, you're in the Jersey Shore. Are you anywhere near like where Jersey Shore was filmed?
Unfortunately, I'm about 20 minutes north.
No way. Do you know any of those guys?
Yeah, actually, I was in court with Mike the Situation. And
No way.
yeah, so he was in court for window tint. And then I stood up next to him. I'm 5'8", and I was looking down at him, which I thought was hysterical.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Actually, the craziest part, the only reason I brought that up was because he just, the situation just popped in my feed on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I followed him. I don't know why I followed him.
Yeah, we're from the same town, and yeah, that's kind of been a weird part of our town's history.
Yeah, I mean, it
Yeah,
probably brings a lot of weird attention,
it
but
does.
I mean,
Yeah,
it seemed like they had a lot of fun. It seemed like they had a
yeah,
lot of fun when they were on the show, and so it seems like a great place to live. I don't know if it's a great place to raise a family, but we can dive into that a little bit later.
yeah. I mean, yeah, that's a whole separate area where they're at. That's a big party. Where we're at is more of a family town, so much
There
different.
you go. Awesome. Well, hey, the podcast is called Onsite, and it's about contractors that are on site. Andrew, did you start? You started in construction or handyman service, kind of entered into the renovations. Now you're doing some new construction. You're also doing the showers. I think you just finished a project not that long ago. Tell us about one of the projects you want to share with us today.
Yeah, so we just wrapped up three larger projects. One was a new construction. It was a modular home. We had the lot, so we developed that and we put the home on it. That was an interesting learning experience. Another project that happened simultaneously. We had 3 weeks to fully gut and renovate a house. It was about a 15 to 1600 square foot 2-story house. And we accomplished it with, all custom coastal features, and the customer's super happy. But everything that we do, it's a learning experience.
Yeah, I really enjoyed following that along. That project when we were following it along was, it was great to see. It was moving pretty quickly. I know you had your kids in the Bobcat there helping you out on site, and
Yeah.
That's part of the plan is taking your family to work so they can see what you're doing and they can be a part of the experience with you. So this modular home that you brought in, was that a spec project or what was that about?
That was a spec project. So my father-in-law had the property, and
Mhm.
he got a tax increase. So he said, "I'm getting rid of this thing. We could either sell it as is, or we could build a house." So naturally, I took on the challenge. We put a house on it. But yes, it was a spec home. It's currently listed for sale, and hopefully we sell it. That's the goal. But definitely a learning experience.
No, I'm sure you'll get rid of it. It's a beautiful home.
Yeah.
And how far is it from the water and any like cool things?
So it's about 5 blocks from one of our main bays in the area. It's called Barnegat Bay. You can go up to the end of the street and see our lighthouse, which is called Barnegat Lighthouse, which I think is a
Okay.
great feature. Yeah, so it's not quite a coastal town, but you're not far from the water.
Right. Well, that's super close.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great investment for somebody to buy. Are you allowed to have Airbnbs and that kind of stuff out there or rentals like
Yeah,
that?
depending on the town. Some towns only allow you to have 2 rentals a year, where other towns don't really care. They don't have much restriction.
Okay. Okay. So somebody could ultimately end up buying it for that as well,
Oh,
renting
totally.
it out,
Yeah, of
making some cash. So cool. Well,
course.
that's a great project. I remember there was a project that you were working on earlier on. I think it was an addition. I don't know if that was kind of right when we were talking. There
Yeah.
was a bit of it was an over the garage. Was that the large project that you were just talking about, or is that another one?
That was another one. Yeah, that was actually my first addition that we did. We did a second floor above a garage, 900
Okay.
square foot addition. That was an interesting project. We ran into pretty much all the things that we could have ran into. We did weather, material delays, subs not answering their phones as usual.
Yeah.
But we were able to start that project and pretty much wrap up in 4 months. So that was a cool one.
4 months. That's good, pretty good turnaround. On a project of that size and with that,
Mhm.
that much, intensity to tying it to an existing project. So that's awesome. You talked about delays with subs and stuff like that. I found, and I don't know if it's like that where you are. I know that you do some surfing and stuff. So I'm assuming that you've got some nice water and some good activities. And
Yes.
when the water's ready for you, it's kind of hard to like you're looking at it, you're on site doing
Yeah.
things, and so
Yeah.
it worked with when I went to Hawaii a few years ago. I ran into some local contractors, and they're like, "Man, as soon as the waves are ready, we're leaving. Like, we don't care what we're working on, we're gone." And so,
Yeah.
is that the same situation, kind of where you are, where it's like, yeah, everybody, a lot of people probably surf. It's probably part of the culture. You're
Hmm.
sure you're not the only person that does it. And
Yeah.
so, if the waves are going off, is it just kind of like a known fact where it's like we
Yeah.
might not have everyone on site today?
Unfortunately, that's definitely true. Whether it's surfing or fishing, if the
Mm,
opportunity arises, most people jump at it. So I try not to work with other surfers for that exact reason. But
yeah, yeah.
it's definitely a thing.
No, I found it just so crazy because when I was in Hawaii, I was like, I mean, I kind of get it, but it's like there's
Hmm.
priorities, and it's like, well, that's the island life. It's like this is what we do.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything's a
Work,
little
work is
slower on the
first.
island. Work is second, lifestyle's first.
Yeah, for sure.
but
Well, and,
but
and
yeah,
uh,
that's
I'm sure it's similar a little bit there, where you're at. You got to live life, but at the same time, you got to provide for your clients, and being a GC, taking on that responsibility, managing all those people, it's a process for sure. And as you continue to grow, like the cream rises with you, so you'll find the premium trades that will come work with you because they want to show up and be there on time and do a great job and answer their phones and whatnot. So you'll continue to refine and grow your team as you progress. But got some cool projects. We can also give Andrew a follow. Jetty Custom Homes. I think, is that your Instagram handle?
Jetty Homes.
Oh, it's Jetty Homes. There we go. Jetty Homes. If you want to give him a follow on his projects, he's gonna be more active on
Yes,
social. Right?
I will be.
Yes. He will be. No. Andrew and I have been working together for almost just over probably just close to a year now.
Yeah, right about a
Um,
year.
yeah, and it's cool watching your transformation. I know that you started kind of with the smaller projects, doing a lot of the stuff yourself, just like every contractor kind of starts their life out a little bit where they start with the small things, doing all the things. And now as you venture into the sub, world where you're starting to sub things out, doing larger projects, doing more projects, it probably is a fresh awakening, understanding your position in the industry, and it's probably scary at times for sure. I know we've had a lot of conversations about, just making the right moves along the way. But tell me a little bit about the very first project that you worked on, whether it was just as a handyman, small little project. Who was it for? Probably family. I don't know. A lot of my first initial projects were for family, and then slowly just kind of progressed. My first project, by the way, was horrific. Not it was not good,
Yeah.
but that's part of the process. So tell us a little bit about your first project that you landed on, and when that first started.
Yeah. So, at the very beginning, I did a bunch of little jobs that I probably don't even remember. But one does stick out. I actually posted it on my Instagram story the other day. Me and a friend built a staircase at a rental home. I had some experience building in the past, but not really anything without guidance. So, me and my buddy, who's also a contractor, we teamed up. And actually, I think we really surprised ourselves with how good it came out. So that's just something that stands out to me. And the guy still calls me for work to this day because, we did a great job. The communication was great and he was just happy with how everything came out. So we built that set of steps off his deck and he called me actually just last week to redo the rest of his deck.
When was that?
That was 2 years ago in April. So we've been in business just over 2 years.
You've come a long way. That's some fast growth in a couple of years. And I think a lot of times we get discouraged, as we're building our business. There's these moments of discouragement and these, these positions where, we look at where our current situation is and we dream for all these other things to be happening and they're not happening. And you're just like, wow, I want to move much faster. But dude, 2 years of business, you've got, you've completed a custom home. You've worked on large projects, and you still have time to get to the beach. So I think you should celebrate, your growth for sure. And look at the next 2 years where you'll be at.
Yeah, and that's what really keeps me going forward.
Yeah, is looking at the growth. That's awesome. Well, I mean, I think you should celebrate that. I thought you were in this for a lot longer. If I'm being completely honest, I didn't think it was only 2 years. So that's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
That you've made that much growth for a period of time. So keep celebrating that. Make sure you go follow both those profiles. Lots of great content that's going to be coming. Andrew understands the importance of sharing everything that he's doing. And he is working on a lot of great projects. He does take, a lot of pride in the work that he does. His communication is laser focused. Wears a lot of this on his back, I've noticed. And starting to incorporate more people.
Hey, we've got an ad here. Make sure to pay attention. What's up, guys? Are you a contractor or business owner looking to take things to the next level? Well, I've got something for you. The Elite Builder Society is a community that helps contractors grow and scale. For $49 a month, you can have access to 20 group coaching calls. Look, you're probably wondering, how am I going to show up to 20 calls, Brandon? That's a lot. And yeah, it is a lot for $49 a month. But every call is recorded so you can watch it at your leisure. But you get the best experience when you're live on the call with us. Okay, at the end of every webinar, there will be a Q&A where you can ask the industry expert questions that you can implement into your business. Look, if you're ready to take things to the next level for $49 a month, go to ebsworks.com and register today. I look forward to seeing you inside the community.
So started these stairs, a couple of years ago.
Right.
And then when was the first project that you were like, oh, I feel very confident in my position to continue to move forward? Like when did that come about?
Honestly, there was a lot of fake it till you make it up until probably 6 months ago. I had a few people reach out to me for larger renovations. And, without hesitation, I said, yeah, I can do that for you without question. But there was definitely a lot of times in the past where, I've told people I can definitely do it for them. And, I don't want to say I go home and YouTube how to do the work because that's not true. But, I figure out a way to do it. So, yeah, probably about 6 months ago, I took on a bigger project and, was very confident that we could do it right.
And how's the project going?
Oh, it's done now. Customers very happy. A lot of
There you
higher
go.
end finishes, but it's all part of it is finding the right people to bring in, the right
Hmm.
subs, and then going through that process. We've definitely talked about this a lot. Is bring in your A team, and there's
Yeah.
been jobs where I haven't brought my A team, and I've learned lessons from that.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
So
exactly.
yeah.
Well, that is some great growth, man. I'm super proud
Hmm.
of you. I love working with you. You always show up. You always take action. You're always willing to learn. And I think that's the most important thing in this industry is that growth comes from action and challenging yourself. Your storyline sounds very similar to mine when I first got into this. If I'm being
Okay.
completely honest, I did YouTube a lot of stuff. I'm fine to admit that. But at the same time, it's like, a client's going to assume that you know what you're doing, right? They
Hmm.
have to put their trust in you. And building that confidence comes from people that are willing to take a small little risk on a person. And
Yeah.
so, fortunately, you've had a lot of great clients, including your
No
father in
doubt.
law, take some small little risks on you. And it's really, really important to show the world, what you're doing. And that's why we talk so heavily about promoting this on social, so that
Hmm.
you can get that, the exposure that you deserve. So I think that's awesome. I love following your journey. You've got a beautiful family as well. Tell us a little bit about your family.
So I have a wife. We've been married for 8 years. This week is our anniversary,
There we go. What are you guys
and we
doing?
have we're probably just going to take a ride down to Atlantic City or something for the day. We don't have anything planned.
Okay,
Um,
you'll figure that.
we'll figure that out. We have
You'll
three
figure.
kids. I'll figure that out. We got three kids together, 6, 4, and 1, and that's hectic. There's no
Yeah, man.
sugarcoating
Six.
that. I was
And is
arguing
it?
with my. Go ahead.
Yeah, you got it's boy. What is it? What's the dynamic with your kids?
Boy, girl, boy.
A boy, girl, boy. Okay, you were telling us
Yeah.
about your son. Yeah,
Yeah. So
you
my
were arguing
son
with your.
thinks he knows everything. So
Okay.
we're always arguing about, like, he's telling me how to start a chainsaw last night and it's wrong, and I'm like, no, this is how you do it. And we're just going back and forth over silly stuff.
Yeah. How old is he?
He's 6.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
I kind of get emotional because time passes by super, super quick. And my son's 17 now. And I
Hmm.
remember the first time he was like pissing around with an impact, and I would give anything for those moments again.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I really enjoy the time that I have now with them. But, it's those initial memories that really go a long way and really solidify your bond as father son. So, really lean into that stuff and let them continue to do a lot of the things that you're doing.
Yeah.
Any other stories of has he ran a chainsaw? Are you letting him run a chainsaw?
No, I don't. I won't let him run a chainsaw. He's trying to convince me to run a skid steer by himself. I said, "There's no way."
Yeah, let him
um,
do it. Let him do
yeah.
it.
No, he
Has he
could.
has he driven it at all?
He can drive it, but sitting on my lap. I won't let him take it
Okay.
out by himself. uh,
I mean, I
when
took
we
my
t-
son. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Sorry.
when we take out my dad's boat, he tries to kick me out of the captain's chair and run the thing himself.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah,
you're not having it. You're letting him.
not
Yeah.
I let him do it on my lap, but he's 6 years old. He thinks he's 30.
Well, hey, that's confidence right there.
It's all good.
My son, I had a big F-350, big huge truck, and
Hmm.
he was 13, and I'm like, hey, it's time to learn how to drive,
Yeah.
and I don't know why I did this, and it was like city streets too, like we probably in like not a good place to be doing this. My daughter, I
Hmm.
take her on like a gravel road, and but yeah, he was driving around in that thing, and I was like, after about 5 or 10 minutes, I was like, yeah, I think we're good for a couple of years. I think we're good. I learned my lesson. You learned something and you built some memories. But I mean, that's what it's about is building these experiences with your kids,
Yeah.
and your daughter. You've
And
got
then
boy, girl, boy. You said,
yeah. One thing that I find is super important, but it's not easy, especially running your own business, is disconnecting from work when you get home and being present for the
mhm,
kids. Because sometimes if
yeah,
I had a long day, it was a rough day, whatever, you know, anybody could do it, but I'll be short tempered or, could be snappy, whatever, with my kids. And now that I notice that happens sometimes, I'll try to take a step back and be present, disconnect from work for a few hours while I'm home before they go to bed. That's definitely a battle too.
Yeah, I think, and you know this too, and you'll learn this over the next couple months as you grow into this next phase of your business. But
Hmm.
really optimizing everything, incorporating these softwares,
Yeah.
and bringing in the right admin support gives you the headspace to turn the light switch off. That was something that I really prided myself on was going home and trying to leave work and all the shit that we're dealing with at work or in my head at 3 in the morning. It's also toxic as well to do that. And, I think it's really important that you have somebody like me that you can at least bounce things off of or just navigate. I didn't have that in my journey. And I think that would have been really something that I really could have benefited from. Just having the ability to have that conversation with somebody to just clear your mind a little bit so that when you do go home, it's like, oh, okay, you know what? I'm doing good today.
Yeah.
Whereas like in your mind, you're like, oh, I'm backpedaling. The world's falling apart when really it's not. Really it's not as bad as you actually think. So I'm glad you're consciously aware of that for your family
Hmm.
because it's really really important. You're doing all this work and all this hard shit on sites that your family can have this lifestyle, right? And if you take that away by coming home, a bit rigid or connected with work, then it,
Yeah.
it removes that experience that you're actually working for
Exactly.
them. So I love that
Yeah.
you're so consciously aware of that, and that's awesome. And your kids are super lucky to have you.
What's up, guys? I hope you're enjoying this episode of the Onsite Podcast. So here's the deal. We want to grow this show and we need your help. It's simple. Pay the tax, share the show. That's it. Let's get back into it.
Okay, so sometimes it's like, oh, let's hear about like some of the crazy shit that's happened to you, and it kind of ultimately ends up going down this negative trail, and I'm not really into doing that.
Yeah.
So,
We don't need that
tell
today.
us a little- no, I'm not really into that. I'm not really a negative kind of person. I don't really like fostering that kind of energy. But tell us something about something that positive happened on one of your job sites. You've mentioned you shared a little bit about some other projects, but is there any other stories that stick out to you that were really important, where maybe you made a big impact on somebody's life by bringing them to your site, or is there any other significant connection that you'd like to share with us of one of your projects?
Nothing really specifically jumps out at me, but one thing that I can share is we finished up a bathroom job the other day, and two things happened. So while I was there, the customer's daughter dropped a table on her foot, and
Mm,
the baby's screaming, the foot's all swollen and bruised. So without question, I just repaired the table. The top came off, so I fixed it and nailed it and glued it. It was just something that I thought to do because rather than throw out the table, I'd fix it for them. So later that day, they sent me this message how grateful they were for the work that we did and that we took care of that table. Where the typical contractor probably wouldn't have done anything or thought twice about it. And it made me feel some type of way that it's not just about the work; it's about connecting with the customer and doing what's right and making lifelong relationships.
yeah, I love that. That's a great share.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. This is a new experience for me as well. Like the coaching space.
Hmm.
I've been doing it for a couple of years now, but hearing you talk like that, knowing where you started and where you are right now, it's almost like this like happy dad, thing when you can hear you're like, and I think you're my son. But it's really good that you're so consciously aware of that because we talk so much about you have to be willing to do the things that the other guys aren't willing to do, and it doesn't need to come with a level of like expectation where it's like, oh, I'm going to fix the table and send you an invoice.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
not
I just
about that.
noticed you went through shit. Yeah, it's not about that. It's about really building these solidified relationships because that client will forever continue to come back to you. They'll tell their friends, they'll amplify that message. And that's really what it's about. It's if you can master the organic process of onboarding clients and taking care of their needs and their expectations to the fullest of your abilities, they will line up in the streets for that service, just like you would, right? If somebody was coming into your home to do anything, you would much rather prefer somebody that's there to support you and your family, right?
Hmm.
Than for you to let somebody in your home that's there to fill their pocket. And that's solely what it's about. And so I'm glad that they are aware of those circumstances and those situations that really can shape your business. That was a good share, and it was
I
kind of
mean,
like a happy dad
you know,
situation.
you don't do that with the expectation that it's going to better you. You just do it because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, it has to be natural. Knowing you have to know this is business, though. You have to know that if you're a good person, good things will happen to you in return. That's the very least expectation out of that. You don't have to go into it with that expectation. But if you can stack some wins like that, that's a win, in my opinion.
Hmm.
You can continue to stack those types of wins on top of each other. It's much better to stack those type of organic, natural, compassionate, respectful wins with clients than just a generic win. So again, doing what other people aren't willing to do will allow you to grow. Dude, your business is going to be over the next 3 to 5 years exponentially different than
Yeah.
where it is right now on another
Hmm.
level. And I think it's because of mindset. I
Yeah.
think that you've got the right mindset. If anybody's listening to this, I seriously want you to go follow Andrew's journey. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at how he grows both of these businesses. And him and I will continue to work together for sure throughout that entire journey because I just love that. I love that connection that we have right now, and I love that I love watching things grow. Andrew, this has been a great conversation. I would love to just plug your business one more time. So you've got Jetty Homes, and we've also got Jetty Outdoor Showers. If you want to go give them a follow on either of those platforms, if you're in Jersey Shore,
Yeah.
correct? Yeah. Yeah, if you're in the Jersey Shore area and you're looking for a contractor, highly recommend reaching out to Andrew. He could probably also give you a tour of the Jersey Shore show. That was
Yes.
that on what was that on MTV or what was that on?
That was on MTV.
Yeah, MTV. Dude, I remember watching that show. That was freaking hilarious. The
Yeah.
situation,
The
T-shirt time.
situation.
Oh, what a
my,
funny ass show, dude.
my buddy was just telling me a story the other day. He saw Pauly D at this place where everyone goes to anchor up their boats and party, and they were
Okay.
yelling. They were yelling back and forth at each other. And my buddy grabbed a cheeseburger off the grill and threw it at Pauly D, and it smacked him right in the chest.
No way. Oh, that's wild. Well,
Yeah,
what
good
a wild
stuff.
story. What a wild place to live.
Yeah.
Man. Well,
Hmm.
I hope to come visit you one day.
Yeah, I hope
You can
so.
tour me around all these great places. It's a great conversation. Really appreciate you and thank you so much. Until next time. We're on episode 20 though. Episode 20. So
It's awesome.
it's been growing. I love it. Well, I appreciate you. Have yourself a great rest of your day and make sure you book your call.
Thanks, Brandon. Take care.
All right, that concludes this episode of the Onsite Podcast. Remember, if you enjoyed this episode, please pay the tax, share the show. Guys, if you want to be a part of the Elite Builder Society, all you got to do is pay $49 a month. That's it. $49 a month. You get 20 group coaching calls every month. Okay? Go to ebsworks.com and register today. If you enjoyed the show, please pay the tax and share the show.